Hi, Sunflower.
Hey Sunflower, how are you? Hi everyone. Hi Divine Answer. Great to have you guys here. Today we're really gonna talk about, just put out a video, you guys, and about talking about false light energies, and we're really gonna get into that and really start talking about it. Great to see you again, Sunflower. Great to have you. And also go through, what the true light energy is, what the false light energy is, so that you can distinguish between the two. And I'm certain that many of you have sort of wondered about certain things, or whichever way. And you wonder about certain things that go on. You're like, your intuition and your radar and your antennas up, and even though you might not be able to put your finger on it quite in that way, you know that something's a little bit off about something, and that's your intuition. That's your higher self. That's your spirit, your ancestors, all of those things within you. That's sparking that is sort of alerting you to that, so that you look into it a little bit deeper, because there are the signs, and we're going to go through that. There are the signs, some of which you'll be quite familiar with, and I'll add some others, and then we can discuss it all as well. And I always say the biggest and most important thing is, if anyone is talking to you and it's not pointing you, let's just say through anecdote, if the hand is pointing out this way, problem, because the hand should be pointing this way into you. And what I mean by out is put your energy into this person, people.
Pointing away from you.
Yeah, pointing away from you. Put your energy into people. Put your energy into gods. Put your energy into angels, ascended masters. All of that. See, that's pointing you outward. And let me tell you something. What you have within you, none of that stuff even compares outside to what you've got going on in there. But it takes, but if you look at it just from a sensible point of view, if the only choice you have is one, then you don't have any choice at all. But once you have at least two choices, then you can not choose to go within, and you could choose that other choice or many other choices out there. So it really has to be, a choice that you make from the heart and that you desire to make and have. Because the thing here on earth with spirituality, which is everything spiritual, I just like to say that. Well, the thing is with spirituality is you have to choose to embrace your spirituality, because we cannot be incentivized to do so. It's sort of one of the deals here in this reality. You have to choose yourself. And in order for you to even have and to be able to do that and make that choice, you have to have another option, don't you? Right? We have to have another option. We have to be able to choose against that. Or otherwise, you will never, ever, ever see the profit. And sometimes, in some cases, we need to see what the outside choice is all about, so that we can really, really, really know that the game is an inside game. It's an inside game. All right, let me see. I was literally looking at my ex as he was talking to me, and I knew he was lying, but I didn't accept. Yeah, acceptance is really important. Now I say I didn't go through what I went through to not trust my intuition now. Yeah, that's a perfect example. Of course, that's a perfect example. Your ex is outside of you, and you had to experience that dynamic so that you could know, damn, literally, damn, I can't really trust anything out here. It's got to be in here. The faith has to be in here. Welcome, little Gracie. Welcome. You haven't missed much if you've just come in. We're just talking about the inside versus the outside. What you've got inside, and in relation to false light. In relation to false light, just to catch you guys up. So that we can know the difference between what is false and what is true. And the actual indicators that tell you that something is false, and the actual indicators that tell you something is true. Because spirituality is not complex. It is not hard to understand, and anybody making it difficult, and if there's any difficult, oh, you have to do this, you have to do these tricks, you run away from them as far as possible, because what you have within you is the true self. It's the true you, and that is you. And you're not going to have trouble if you're paying true attention to your inward game. You're not going to have trouble understanding yourself. Let me guarantee you that. Let me guarantee you that. So, as I was saying earlier, anything that points you outward, and I'll just repeat, anything that points you towards anything outside of yourself, another person, i.e. a guru, someone that knows more than you, blah, blah, blah. You've all heard it before, because that's what this reality does. Oh, you don't know enough. You need... Points you to entities that are outside of yourself. Angels, ascended masters, devils, because they're all there waiting. Any of those things, they are outside of you. You have angels within you. You don't need any of the ones out there. You have them within you. You speak to those. Because they are you, and they have always been with you. And they do not exist outside of you. They do not exist outside of you. But as I was saying a little earlier, not all will run, of course, not all will resonate. But that's okay.
This is why it's so hard for me to trust people. But I take bits and pieces from all teachers, including even you. That's what you're supposed to do, and weigh that. Take the scale, the balancing scale. Does that go with what's going on within me? And weigh that in that scale where it's completely balanced. And even if that's an issue, you just sit back and you wait and you trust your intuition, which comes from your heart and your gut brain. And that's where your spirit functions. And if you just trust and have patience, the answers will come. Absolutely. The answers will come. So you're aware of that, Sunflower. And and many of you also, perhaps. That's why you're here. But as I was saying earlier, you have to have a choice. Really, if you just think about it, just common sense. If all you can choose is yourself, what's within you, then it's not a choice, is it? You have to be able to go another direction. Because otherwise, then you don't have the free will to do what you want, if that's the only choice that there is. So you have that dynamic that exists outside of yourself. I just mentioned a few, because there's always more. And then once you have that experience outside of yourself, and you have that faith, you're welcome. And you have that, and you put that faith outside, because I'm going to say something about faith. You put that faith outside, eventually it's going to get trampled upon. Why? Because faith is useless unless it is faith in yourself. That's the only reason why faith should exist. Now, I know we've heard have faith in this thing over here, faith in God and all of that. I know, I've been there. And of course, some of you who've been in these lives know I grew up in the church. I'm the son of a
of a preacher. So I come and I've experienced all of it. And because I've experienced all of it, I come to the conclusion, oh, wow. The only time I've ever been happy, the only time I've ever been accomplished, the only time I've ever been truly happy is the time I turned within and I realized that spark, the divine spark that is within me and that is within you, has never ever turned away from you, has never ever forgotten. Even though we have forgotten about it, that part of us, that's the part of us that we return to when we drop this thing, this body, and give it back to the earth who gifted it to us. The part of you that lives forever, the immortal part of you, the true part of you, the one that's going to be here in this body, the one that was in every other body, the true you, and the one that's going to be in every other body after this one, that one lives forever. And it never, ever forgets about you. It's just that the one thing is the dynamic of that relationship is completely like nothing we experience in this false reality. So because we get so far removed from ourselves, it sometimes feels a little strange until we really get that acquaintance going and really, really, really remove the layers of falsehood, the layers of separation, and we start to see ourselves as divine beings without any judgment and without any of the nonsense programs that have been put inside of us from the day we were born, because they start early on us, folks. They start early from your parents, who, by the way, you know more than when it comes to the true self than they ever did. Well, that's the dynamic. It's not anything better than the other, but because of the consciousness that's coming here on the planet. You do know, and we now see the fallacies in all of the belief systems because they're not making our lives better. Right? Realize, well, we have to do that. So let me get back to the point. So everything is important. Let me make sure I haven't missed any comments from you guys. By the way, you're free to comment at any time. You're free to comment every time. Anytime there. And Grace, I'm being guided to tell you this. I know we spoke just a little bit today, and you have a lot to give. You have a lot of potential, and don't let anything distract you away from yourself. And it'll be the least, and if distractions come, it'll be from that which you will least suspect. So that, I'm just getting that just off from spirit for you. So let's get back to the false light, true light.
Well, look what Sunflower just said, what we talked about with Maya today.
We're born here through blood and pain. That's energy, and we take that on from birth.
Yeah, it's trauma.
It's trauma, yeah.
We talked about with Maya.
Exactly.
Strangled.
Yeah.
We talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. We had a conversation, and we said, when you're being born, that umbilical cord is actually around your neck as you're coming out. So you're suffering a trauma just from the start of birth. Just being born. So this reality is a doozy, as I always tell people, right? And so, yeah, this is very poignant that you say that. So, when we're looking and making a distinction between what is false and what is true, let's start with the false light. Everything's always pointed out. So that's standard. No matter what, nothing false will point you towards yourself. They can't. It's sort of like, this is a no-brainer. If you're asked to put your faith and your life and your everything and to give energy over to anything in the way religion does, in the way even so and the label for it is the New Age, you know. Like I said in my video that I think all of you've seen, where when you're done with the, you know, the angry God upstairs with the long beard who's always looking to destroy, kill, and all of that, why would a creator focus on destruction? Because most creators I know, in any form, human form, any form, they're always focusing on creating something. Very seldom does destruction come out of their mouth. Very seldom. Like, more, they're looking to create, they're looking to improve their creations, they're looking to make it better, they're not looking to destroy it. So once we get sick and tired of that nonsense, then, boop, you come to that realization, this reality that we're plugged into, because we're here, realizes that, and brings in something that we might be more easily inclined to accept once we reject that. Hi, Libra Sun. Good to have you. Good to have all of you here, by the way. Reject that. Once we reject that, then something else is brought in that we would likely, more likely accept. But it's the same thing, just dressed up a little bit differently. I like to call it the lipstick on a pig. It's still the same thing. It's a little different, and it's a little bit more coy in getting you to give your power up. Hi, Alana Maya. A little bit more coy into getting your power up, but the thing will always be the same. You will always be pointed and advised to look outside of yourself. That is the biggest thing. If you don't remember anything I say, and all you have to do is go into your own mind, your own reality, and you'll see it. So it's not something you even have to believe me about. You don't have to take my word for it. You simply just take a few moments and look. And we do it to people. You know, I'm going to find this person and they're going to complete me. It's all really the same thing. I'm going to get, and they're going to do this for me. And they're going to bring love for me. When the most important thing is for you to do all that from within. And then, because that is within you, it resonates, reverberates, and ripples outside and brings in that which vibes and resonates with what you're putting out. That's universal law, by the way. There's 7 universal laws. That's universal law. And it falls under a couple of them. One of them is the law of cause and effect. Because you become a causer and you caused a certain kind of energy from within you, and it goes, whether you bring in what you like, there's no rule to it. It's whatever you are and whatever energy you put out and reverberate out, whatever resonates with that is what comes in. So what's great about that is that means that you're in control. Isn't that a great thing? So as long as you know, because you're here. And I think Dolores Cannon talks about one of them. And she says it's the main thing we're here for. It's one of them. I'm not sure I agree whether it's the main thing or not, but that's not the point. One of the things that you're here to do is learn to manipulate energy. And you know how you do that? You manipulate your own energy. You evaluate what's going on with your own energy through your emotions. What are your feelings like every day? What are the stories that you're saying to yourself and others? Those stories are indicative of the energies that you're carrying. How you feel on a daily basis. No judgment, of course. How you feel on a daily basis dictates your energy. So once you start changing, if you like what you have, of course, don't change it. But once you start adjusting I'm finding out what emotions that run you every day on a daily basis, then you could start whittling down and working on the sources. So you go back in. Well, why do I always feel this way? Yes, alchemist of energy. Why do I always feel this way? And you work on the source of that feeling. For example, I'm always feeling pretty angry, upset. And you look back as, well, it's because of the way I was treated as a child. So you know that you have inner child work that once the source is taken from that, the part of you, your inner child, which is the original you, you know that that source is going to change, and you're going to decide the energy. What do you want to experience? You want to experience a life of joy? Then you get rid of the things that would work against that. And then we're talking energy work here. And you bring in from your spirit the thing that would become a source for joy. Once that joy is experienced in here, no matter what's going on outside of you. You might have a hell going on outside. It is still possible to create a joy in the middle of that hell. And then the minute you start resonating that joyful energy, that hell cannot exist. Why? Because those two frequencies are not in resonance with each other. If they're not in resonance with each other, they cannot exist in the same place at the same time. The one that is within you should be the dominant force. And if you're determined, the joy that is within you is dominant, that hell has to go. It can't stay. All the things that bring it, they have to go too. They'll go. I don't care who they are. And sometimes it's family. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Just because you're born here, not all the people that are born in your so-called blood family sharing the last name are actually our family. So that's one of the things you come to. They're not. And when they go, you'll find that your true family that's always been there for you waiting will come in. And I'm talking about in human form and in all other form. So you see how the transformation happens. It's pointing within. So anyone that's of the true light will always tell you, oh, and will always point you, oh, everything you have is within you. And I know we've heard that, and it sounds corny because the details of how to do that are never brought up. And it's like, okay, you know, it's sort of like that thing we hear when we're children. You can be anything you want. Anything. You know what? You could be a doctor, a singer, a lawyer, whatever you want. Even all at the same time. And you hear that, and then it doesn't, the reality that as a child, you figure it out quick. It doesn't match what's going on. So you just end up saying it's bullshit, and then you just accept it as bullshit, and then you start being programmed into the nonsense like most of us have.
The question here. From, what can you say it?
Empath 56?
Nope. Lulu Grace.
Okay. Sorry. Just so you know, it was helping me out, my lovely partner, Joanne, is helping me, and she has a TikTok called Energy Flow. I say, Joanne, Energy Flow. And so she keeps me in line. So if I miss questions, like I just missed a couple here.
So, saying, you see it?
Yeah, I see it. So saying to ourselves these things, we help resonate joy into our lives. Yes, that is one of the steps. And so you go deeper. So deeper, like if you want joy, you have to find, you want to create the source of joy within yourself. Now I know it sounds like, well, how do you do that? You do it by creating it within yourself. Within your, and this is something we do, I'll talk about the Patreon in a second. Within your emotional body, because within you, you have all these parts of you. There's the seat of your emotions. So you create that within the emotional body, and there's a way to do it. Of course, I really can't get into detail here on a live or TikTok because it's too in depth for this kind of format. But I'll still talk about it so that at least you have some idea. You create it within your emotions. Once it's in your emotions, it's real. Because you can know stuff, but we don't do stuff that we know. We do stuff that we feel. Hey, why didn't you do that? Lulu Gracie, why? You know the stuff. Your answer's more likely going to be like most of ours. I just didn't feel like it. And that is the key. It must be in the feeling body before we really start doing it on a consistent basis. And there's a way to do that, and we do that there's a way, definitely techniques and specifics to do that. And so when we drive it down into our emotional body and we drive it into our hearts and we drive into certain other aspects, then it starts to reverberate. And when we take out, because just like that stuff that brings joy needs to be put in, the stuff that's working against joy, and it's there, and it might be placed there more than likely by someone else or by us without really knowing. We take that stuff out. All the traumatic experiences, the thing that brought you down so low at whatever time, events, and we bring that out and we release them. You release them, and then you replace it with the things that are going to bring you joy. What things might work against joy? Traumatic experiences that are there, that happen, things that people have done to us, things that maybe we've done to ourselves. We're not going to judge about how it got there. We're just going to release it, because see, now that you're an adult, you're in charge, and you don't have to take what was put there when you were a child and didn't have control. Now you can change that. You can reverse that. You can do the kind of work to reverse it. Because the subconscious mind is where all of that stuff sits. And the subconscious mind does not have an awareness of time like the conscious mind. The subconscious mind doesn't know when it's 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 20 years from now. It's all the same, because the subconscious mind is a now moment mechanism. So we can go in and change it to whatever it is that we want, the things that we don't like. And the subconscious mind will go with that. That's why you can always transform and change. Now, you don't forget it. Like, if something happened to you, you don't forget that it happened. So that's not what we're doing. It's just like you do remember, but it doesn't have any significance. No significance.
Holding on to it. You're not living it.
You're not living it. Yeah. You're not hold on to it. Exactly. Yeah. And so it becomes just like you're walking down the street and you see a little stone on the road. You see that stone? Oh, yeah, you see that stone. 5 seconds later, you even forgot you saw it. It's just not that important. That's where you'll get to. And then once you get to that point, those things, whatever happened, will be transformed. And then it's you dictating what sits inside of your psyche, what sits inside of your being, instead of the other way around. So I hope that helps and kind of answers your question. Have I missed anything else?
Yeah, I always thought that I was never part of this Earth blood family. From Empath 56, how did we choose these people when we were created? Don't understand that.
All
Empath
right.
56.
Hey, Mama Trex, I didn't see you there. Oh, I will always. Okay, I know you just read it. I always thought that I was never part of this Earth blood family. Yeah. And to be honest, it's funny with me. I knew that some were, but most were not. And so, why you chose it, we don't get really deeply into that, because that's always a different reason. But I will give the major reason why many of us did it, and maybe it applies to you, or maybe it doesn't, is we came here to clean out the crap from the bloodline. And so you came, and you were chosen to do that because you're the only one capable. So you run into all of the crap that's in that bloodline when you come down to do that. You have to experience everything that they experience so that you understand the depth of the problem, right? So I'm just giving you a scenario here. I'm just giving you my scenario. Let me just put it that way. And that's common for a lot of us. So once we come down here and we see that, we start working on transmuting and cleansing our bloodline, which is, again, something we do in the Patriot, like in a really repeatable and direct way. And so you come down, and your purpose is to really clear all that stuff up, because every body is in a bloodline. So once you clear a bloodline, you clear it up for the past. Things that happened in the past gets
gets cleared up too. It just doesn't stay there. The actual like techie term for it is retrocausality. Meaning an act that you do now goes back and corrects the past and the future and the present all at the same time. And you have the power to do that. Not everyone does. That's the key. Not everyone does. Because if they did, then you wouldn't have to be chosen to do it. You have the power to do it. But you are going to face the resistance that is automatically sitting there to continue the nonsense going on in the bloodline, because something else is profiting from that. You see, this reality lives off the suffering, pain, and total lack of knowing from humanity. They live off the pain and the suffering of humanity. Well, you're dealing with it at the base level, which is the bloodline level. So the resistance from those who are feeding on that is going to come. But you must remember, you're also powerful to overcome that.
I believe that I was here to cut generational curses. Thanks.
Yes, that's probably why I was led and guided to say that. By the way, that's kind of like what a lot of us are here to do. And you are, you should have to know that it's a tough job. But once you get it done, it's not a job that lasts a long lifetime. It lasts a certain time, and once you get done, boom, you can start becoming, no, you already are becoming even when you're doing that. But that burden is lifted off of you. So the great thing is, it doesn't take a lifetime to do it. Okay? So that's the encouragement. The encouragement I want to give you. Definitely want to give you that. By the way, I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm grateful for all of you. And I want to say a couple of things. It all starts with connecting to the true, divine, permanent, and eternal self, which is your higher self, which is your spirit. That's the spark, the part of you that lives forever, the part of you that is from the divine. And you have a divine mother and a divine father. The divine mother is the active one, because all you have to do is look at this earth. She's feminine. If you look at the universe, it's feminine. So it is from the spark that created all of that you came from. Making you what? Also the creator, because you have a universe within you. So connecting to that spark is essentially important. And it's not just talk about you having a universe within you. You got a sun right here called the solar plexus. The distances between the cells in your body are the same as the distances between the stars in the universe. You have all of it. And this is not just spiritual talk, because even science will tell you that everything within this body comes from this earth, and everything within this body is from the stars. You were made of star stuff. That is why you never hear me talk about a lot about star seeds. Because you are that. So connecting, and so again, it's about the choice thing. You can choose to and you can choose not to. I advise to connect to that part of yourself. Like, you're always connected, but it's a choice from your end to finish it, to clear away the fogginess and the things that would, filters that stand between you and that divine spark that you are, that is within you. So in the bio, there's a higher self meditation that you can go to, and you listen to as much as you want, where it's designed, it's designed for you to do that. And the idea is you are connecting to your divine self, which is inside of you. So I have that. You can just go to the bio and do that. Another thing to consider, if you wanted to join a community of like-minded people, of people who are working on themselves, focusing on the inward game, and doing some of the things and more that I've talked about, then you can consider the Patreon, which is also in the bio, and the
The third level is where you get everything. Everything. And no other Patreon that's at this for what the, let's just talk money here because it's important. For the cost that's there, we'll do that. Most others is just you get a few things on there, you get a few videos. It's not a knock or against anybody. It really isn't. But Joanne and I, my partner, Energy Flow, we really do care about everyone. And we spend the time with the people who really want to dedicate time to themselves. So that's the key. Because we do, that is important. And the transformation that happens there is rapid. I don't know if Mama Trex is here. She's in it. And she can tell Lulabelle or Mama Trex, she's in there as Mama Trex. She can vouch for that, and I don't think there are any that I could see there. But check that out. If it resonates with you, take a look at it. But definitely take a look at the higher self meditation, and it doesn't do all the work for you, but it's a great start, right? It's a great start. And also, Energy Flow here has a TikTok with light language and all of that, and if you're interested in light language and anything like that, which is a very healing, soulful kind of language that comes from within. So let's see.
Sending all my love to you and your partner. Thank you for being you. From Lula Grace.
Okay, thank you.
Lula, I can't see.
Yeah, it is. It's Lulu Gracie.
Okay, yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. By the way, Lulu Gracie, where are you from? Yeah. Yes, I am in control. That's right. Past, present, future is happening now. Exactly. I'm just going through making sure I haven't missed it. Yes, and that's a concept. It's so important to know.
Wow. From Australia, of course.
Oh, from Australia? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I lived in Australia, and I have 2 daughters who are Australian citizens. I lived just to the north, 75 clicks north of Sydney in the Central Coast. This is back, 2000 time frame. But yeah, I love Australia. I still have friends there, by the way.
Someone's asking what your shirt says.
Oh, it says I am Groot.
At the bottom, you can't see the bottom, but it just says like I am.
Yeah, I am Groot. Yeah, big, what's it called?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy guy. And I'm big into plants, so this is the shirt I got drawn into. We have plants all over the house, like over there, out in the little front patio, and they all kind of got their names and all of that. So big into plants and nature and all that. So I brought it inside. I brought nature inside as much as I could. Okay, and we have this information inside our souls. I sit and think very... Okay. Yes, growing together. I just make sure we don't have anything that we're not missing here. Truth, the session I have with Joe and Roger are beyond me. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Lacey. That's Mama Trex. Or Lulabelle, as I like to call you. Australia, yeah. Oh, far inland in the country? Oh, all right. All right. Great. Great. Glen Innis. I do that name, that place, Glen Innis does ring a bell. And the fact that I didn't say Glen Ines, like most of us Yanks would say, tells you that. Glen Innis. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. So, I'd just like to say, let's see, kind of lost my train of thought. So as you work on the self inward, because I like to spend more time on the true light than the false light, because I basically told you exactly what it looks like. There really is no mystery to knowing what the false light is all about. Because the true light has way more complexity and interest, because it is like, I can't tell you, and Joanne and I will tell you, even within our lives and with the life of others, and even people that we work with, shit that you didn't even know you had will start to appear. Mm-hmm. You'll be scratching your head. You'll be like, you mean I can actually do this? Or you mean I'm actually that? And you can, and all of it without ego, of course, because it is outside of the ego and in spirit that you make all these discoveries. Even things that you can do and you become aware of that you didn't even know existed. So I can only hint at the mystery that you are, because we all have our own set of mysteries. And so the choice, the thing is, I want to point out.
Say goodnight to Lulabelle.
Lulabelle, good night. Great to have had you here. The great thing about the mystery that you are, and I like to just say this, not to just blow smoke, but the great thing about the mystery that you are is that it's a revelation that's for you to discover first. It's like, I don't know, it's really hard to describe, because I've just seen it in myself, Joanne, others, and every time I see it, I have that big face, that emoji. That's me every time. It never ceases to surprise or amaze. And it's just you. It's just you. Nothing coming in and telling you. And see, the thing is to remember as well, that is kind of an irony, is kind of, is that oftentimes others see it before you do. And then you get the ones that want to hitch up or hook onto you or get you to work with them, and you'll see it. Which ascended master, which this wants to work with you? No, that's the prerogative of your spirit. Because if you guys watch that video, that video that I had that talked about the one that I talked about, the false light, true light thing. If you watch that, you'll know they'll want to work with the most angelic of us, because the closer they can attach the divine, and always through you, the more powerful they become. And it is your power that is being used to make them powerful. In the meantime, they're telling you it's all about them. Because the advantage that they have, and I'm talking about these beings who are actually, I'm going to be specific about who they is. These are fallen beings, fallen from dimensions, and they are stuck between the upper fourth and lower fifth dimensions and densities. And they exist just outside the realm of visible light where you can see them. And they have the advantage of being able to see through time, which you don't in the physical vessel. Unless you develop yourself, then you can. And so they can see what most of us can't. And they have that advantage. So once you know that, and once you understand that, then you know where the home playing field is. You know where you should be and where you shouldn't be. In other words, you know where your strengths are and you know where your weaknesses are. And that's what's happened. So I try to get in, when people are waking up, I try to get to them right at that point. Say, hey, look, that's coming next. Okay? Let's turn this vision inward so you can discover who you are. So you don't get delayed by this nonsense coming in to try to distract you away from yourself. So just know where these beings are. So when I say they, in this instance, that's what I'm talking about. And they are shapeshifters, meaning they can display and come to you in whatever form you like. And they usually come in the form of, go to images on your on your internet and Google angels and all that, and they've got the beautiful wings. They look like the best looking guys and gals ever existing. All of that. And that's the storybook look. But that's not really how they look. So if you have the ability to see with the eye that's within, any of those beings comes to you, you can say, drop the veil and reveal your true self. And they have to. It's universal law. They have to. And then you can see them for who they truly are. Soul jumping, yeah. Higher self only tells me that I need to know in the moment. Exactly, I need to know it. And no more, no less. And that is the definition. You guys, if you read what Sunflower just said, that is the definition of enlightenment. Yeah. You know what you need to know when you need to know it in the moment. That's enlightenment. In short. Right? So so I wanted to clarify who they is and the ancestors that you have within you. Way more powerful. Way more powerful. Your spirit, the creator that animated all of this. And I'm sure because you're here, you know that whatever that book says, we're all made from dirt by some being, and the woman comes from the freaking side of the rib of a man. That Genesis story. Well, all you have to do is look around you, and every birth ever from every woman, every female being, whether it be animal, human, whatever, it all happens in the same way. But suddenly, people believe this one rickety story that has no evidence. Against their own eyes, their own experiences. So, once you have all of that, you turn it in and you start really, really, really desiring. And you talk to your spirit. And whatever needs to come, your higher self, and whatever needs to come, will come. Whatever it is that you need. And you just need to be in a spirit of acceptance and non-judgment. What I mean by that, acceptance is when it comes, you tell your spirit, please help me to recognize what you send me so that I can accept it. How it comes, no judgment. Like, nothing like, well, it could never come from there. No, that can't possibly be. It couldn't come from here, or it could come from there. No judgment.
How do you connect to your higher self? What is it?
How do you connect to your higher self?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
for anyone that's not.
I kind of mentioned it earlier. Is that a question I missed, or you just want me to go over it?
To listen for.
That's why I mentioned. That's actually a good question. I should do that. Thank you. The desire. First of all, the basis of it is the desire. Then once you have that desire, you start doing the things like, for example, that meditation that I have in the bio, using that, and then really, really with the greatest desire, connecting with your spirit and telling and saying, and then clearing out anything that would interfere with that. Any voices, any belief systems, any when I say voices from inside and voices from outside in the form of other people, because they're all going to come. And you'll see it. If you haven't already been through that. Some of you probably have. And any voice, and you insist that it must only be the voice of your original self, which is your spirit. And so that's the first thing. You must be steadfast and strong in that desire. The second thing, so that's one. The second thing is your spirit has a calm loving, gentle voice. Those three things. Calm, loving, and gentle. Never pushy. Never any kind of anxious energy. Because if it isn't, it's not your spirit. Flat out. Calm, gentle, loving, peaceful. That's who you are at your core. So that's how you know that it's your higher self. And so the first thing is you have to have that desire. And then with your intent, you clear the deck and clean house. Just in case. Everything out. You have the power to do that. Everything out. Only my higher self. And then, everything else, once you've established that connection with your higher self and you're building that relationship, then you say, only what my higher self brings in is going to sit in my house, in my being. And everything must come through that authentic self. Yes, the raw, authentic self. It must come through that, or it's not coming in at all. If you notice how strong and direct I am with this, you can't be wavering. It's my spirit. It's the original me. Nothing else. Bang. That's it. And anything else, anything that comes in, because of course, must come through my spirit. And then your ancestors, you start seeing your ancestors in whatever form your ancestors are in. Because your ancestors, I say that they're very powerful. More powerful than any of those things out there. And then you start getting a relationship with your ancestors, which are only versions of your own spirit. That's what they are. Different versions of your own spirit in all forms. And once you do the bloodline work, of course, because someone asked about that, and you start healing your ancestors. I'm saying a lot here in this live. A lot, okay? So I understand if it's... Then you start cleaning the house. Again, this is all we do. We do all of this in the Patreon. Then you are clear on who you are. You are clear with your spirit because you guys are buddies. And it's not a higher, lower, I'm the boss, you're the underling kind of relationship. It's a friendship like that with your ancestors, with your own spirit. Shoot, the other day, I can't find my keys. Hey, could you guys just help me with my keys? Boom, I just wait around a little bit. The keys is under the couch. What's it doing under the couch? Just never. How'd it get there? Look under there. Sure enough, there it is. So it's not even about we think about the high and lofty things that we can do in the spiritual realm, but it's about the basic things in life, making life easier for you. It's like the practical things as well. Mm-hmm. That you can because it's it really is truly like a friendship. That's what your relationship with your spirit and your ancestors are like. It's not like the old thing of I am this lowly worshiper and there's the God and this, not like that. See, that's what this reality wants, because this reality is, I'll say, the false reality, and even the false light functions on a hierarchy. There's a being at the top, then there's this, and then there's angels, and then at the bottom are the followers and the worshipers. Not like that with spirit. It's not a hierarchy. Not a hierarchy. That's exactly what I'm doing. Ancestral work. Fantastic, Alana Maya. Yeah, ancestral work is so important. Yeah. Yeah, that's the program. The hierarchy and all this. That's the programming. Exactly. It's like that. So, yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Feel free to ask any questions. I put I'm going to we're going to come up with a consistent way of doing lives again. It's just that we have so many things going on. we have to get it all settled in so we can do this on a regular basis. But it's gonna be some time, and what I will promise you is just before live that day, I'll make an announcement. That way you don't have to kind of like, okay, if I want to come into the live, when is it, and all of that, until we get that down. So, huh? Okay. So thank you guys so much. If there are no more questions, we'll call it a night. I think I've said a lot. I think that's enough information for one night, right? And of course, you don't have to feel like, oh, if I didn't, this came up. I wish I had said, or I wish I'd asked. You can always DM and put it in there, so it's not even a big deal. Thank you as well. Sending our love to you as well, and all of you too. So thank you.